So let's get the show on the road. We're going to start by walking you through the intuitive system that ties it all together, ties together your apps, your assets, and your services. I would like now to invite up Scott Belsky to talk to you about CreativeSync. Scott?
Thanks, Brian. A lot of you. Hello. Okay. So over the past few years, we've spent a lot of time understanding how the mobile and social worlds are transforming creativity. And it became very clear that creativity needs to be extended beyond the desktop. The future of creativity is one where you can create whenever and wherever you are inspired on your own terms. And this is really the vision for the future of creativity that inspired Creative Cloud. Now, what is Creative Cloud? Creative Cloud is your desktop apps, is your mobile apps, your community to showcase and discover creative work, and a fully integrated marketplace. And as you're about to see, Creative Cloud is all about connectivity. Today, we're excited to show you the full potential of what we call CreativeSync. It is at the heart of Creative Cloud, and it changes the way we work. CreativeSync connects all of these apps, keeps your assets updated, and extends your workflows well beyond the desktop. Without CreativeSync, Adobe apps would be just that, apps, working in isolation. But with CreativeSync, your creative experience is connected in transformative ways. CreativeSync makes all of your assets, right? Fonts, files, and asset libraries available to you across every app and device you are using. Simply drag and drop assets into and out of libraries and really create without friction. CreativeSync brings thousands of typekit fonts into your desktop, mobile, and web creations. CreativeSync enables powerful mobile-to-mobile and mobile-to-desktop workflows where you can capture and create wherever you are and continue your work on the desktop if you so choose. And CreativeSync enables collaboration to share your files, your libraries, and to really work with others, individuals or teams. It also lets you quickly publish your work to Behance for exposure and opportunity. And finally, CreativeSync brings literally millions of design elements and images into your workflows with Adobe Stock. So, it is clear, Adobe is no longer just a desktop software company. It is also clear that what the creative world needs more than anything else right now is just a better way to work. Connected workflows between mobile apps, seamless experiences across mobile and desktop, and more speed and more efficiency. CreativeSync enables this new way of working, and we want to show you some of the newest apps and possibilities. Now, keep an eye out for those three things that Brian mentioned. First, how the Creative Cloud mobile apps work together. This is really new, seamlessly working across mobile apps in a way that really has never been possible. Second, the Creative Cloud libraries. Your assets now follow you from app to app, enabling more efficient creation and collaboration. And third, the integration of Adobe Stock, using Stock in your workflows in a faster and better way than ever before. So with that, I'm excited to introduce my colleagues, Jen Tardif and Eric Snowden, to show us CreativeSync in action with some of the latest and greatest stuff. Jen and Eric.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. Wow. I am so excited to be here, and I have to be honest, a little intimidated knowing that there are so many talented creatives out there, but we have a lot of cool stuff to show you guys, so let's jump right into our first demo. When I'm not at Adobe, I'm usually practicing or teaching yoga. So today, my friend and colleague Eric has agreed to help me create a poster for an upcoming yoga workshop. And I've been thinking a lot about it, so I have an idea for the look and the feel of our poster. I've been adding assets like a color palette that matches the yoga studio, and some brushes, even a few character styles that Eric may want to use in our design. And I've been placing all of these assets into a Creative Cloud library because libraries really are the best way, even though I'm biased, obviously, to share assets between team members like us, and devices and apps. So helpful when you work across multiple machines like we do every day. But before I pass this over to Eric, I need to find one more thing, a great yoga photo that we can use in our design. So to find a photo, I'm going to head to Adobe Stock. And Adobe Stock is a collection of more than 40 million images that are deeply integrated into all of your creative tools. I know what I'm looking for today, so I'm going to start by entering in a few keywords. Yoga practice, and I'm also going to refine my search. Whoops. That thing where I can't type when people are watching me. I'm also going to refine my search so that it just includes photos. And as you can see, I already have tons of high-quality images to choose from. And this one looks good. Pretty impressive yoga pose. So I heard someone say, ouch. So with Adobe Stock, I have two options. I can either license the image right here on the site, or I can save a preview to our Creative Cloud library, which is what I'm going to do today. And this is going to give me a watermarked version of the image that I can play with and make changes to before deciding whether or not I want to pay for it. So now I'm going to head back to Photoshop. And thanks to CreativeSync, that image that I just selected is loading in here. It's a pretty big file, so sometimes takes a few seconds. So I'm going to open it up, and it'll have that watermark that I mentioned. And even though this looks great, I want to see how it's going to do against our color palette. We have this blue sort of calming theme going on. So I'm going to make a quick change. Add in a blue hue. Awesome. And I think this looks good. So now I'm going to license the image, and I can actually do this right here inside of Photoshop. I simply right-click, select By Image, then hit OK, and a high-res, fully licensed version of this photo is going to be added to my library. Now, I just want to highlight how amazing this is, because in the past, I would have had to return to the stock site, try to find the same image. If I was lucky enough to find it, then make my changes all over again, and you get the idea. Pretty cumbersome process. But now, thanks to the magic of Adobe Stock and its integration with CreativeSync, I'm able to license the image inside of Photoshop without breaking my creative flow. In case you missed it, there it is. The watermark disappeared, and this has been added. Really, really helpful for our process. So now that I'm happy with this, I'm going to go ahead and add the photo to our library. And earlier, it added Eric as a collaborator, which you can also do easily inside of Photoshop right here. So again, thanks to CreativeSync, he'll have access to the same library, all of the files I've been collecting over the past few weeks, including the image I just licensed, so that he can use all of this as he begins designing.
Great, thanks, Jen.
You're welcome.
So in the past, when starting a new design, I would have gone to a desktop tool like InDesign or Illustrator. But today, I'm actually going to start out in Adobe Comp CC on this iPad. And it's actually not just any iPad. We're lucky enough to have the iPad Pro on stage today, on loan from our friends at Apple, even though they don't come out until next month. And Comp is amazing on this new device. So I'm going to go ahead and launch Adobe Comp. And Comp is a layout tool for creating websites, for creating print designs, mobile designs, really any kind of layout you can think of. I'm going to go and create a brand new document right now. So 8.5 by 11, I just know that's the size Jen needs to eventually print. And so designing in Comp is incredibly simple, just using your finger on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a rectangle along the outside of my image, and I'm going to create just a background color. And so because Jen and I are sharing the same library, I've got access to all the colors and things she's already created. So I can add that background, lock that just to get out of my way. Beyond that gesture, we have lots of other gestures. So if I draw a rectangle with a period or a rectangle with two lines inside of it, I can create headline text and body text. Because I drew quickly, it groups them together as one object temporarily so I can lay them out on the screen. So from here, I want to start adding some real fonts. And Comp is the first mobile design tool that has access to all of the same fonts that you do in Photoshop and Illustrator on your desktop. So I can go into my font menu, have access to tons of typekit fonts. I can also go into a library and pick out character styles. So Jen created some character styles in Photoshop that I'm actually going to use on this iPad. So I've got one for my headline text, and then I've got one for my body copy. I'm going to go in here and change the title to Yoga Workshop. There we go. It's starting to come together. I want to add another element to the top of the screen. So I'm just going to draw a square, position that. There we go. Great. And again, pick a color from the Creative Cloud library. So this design is starting to come together, but it's looking a little bit geometric. I've got these hard edges, I've got these thin fonts, everything's lined up. I want to add something a little more organic to this. And for that, I'm going to go into a second app, Adobe Photoshop Sketch. And Sketch is a painting and drawing tool for the iPad that has amazing pencils and pens, markers, brushes. And new in this version is a pretty awesome watercolor tool. And we've tuned it really finely to work with the Apple Pencil. So every tool we have inside of Sketch, whether it's our pencil or pen, they react differently based on pressure and tilt of the pencil on the new iPad. So I'm going to go into my watercolor tool, and if I use the pencil on its side, I'm actually laying down more water and less pigment. The harder I press, the darker it gets. I'm going to go ahead and pick a second color here, add that in just a little bit, and then go back and add some darkness in here. So I've got this sort of nice organic shape. You'll notice it's blending on the screen. At any point I can click on this fan to dry it. I can then go copy to my clipboard. It's cute, right? And go in here and I can paste this image, scale it up, and just sort of place it in the bottom of my design. I'm going to change the Z order really quickly and then lock that as well. So for my last element, I want to grab the image that Jen got from Adobe Stock and place that in this document. So if I draw an X at the bottom of my screen, again, that X is just creating an image placeholder. I can go into my libraries. I can grab the image she's created, and I can place it in my design. So right away, you'll notice there's a little bit of a problem with this image. It's got a huge white background. And Comp is a great layout tool, but it doesn't have masking and compositing capabilities. Luckily, another mobile app we have, Adobe Photoshop Mix, does. And through CreativeSync, we can actually link these two apps together and use each one for what they're best at. So if I click on my CreativeSync menu here, and I say Cutout in Photoshop Mix, it's going to bounce me over to Mix, take me into cutout mode. With my finger, I can just really quickly scrub around this, remove the background. I've made a mistake, but if I go in with my Apple Pencil, it's actually really easy to clean that up. There we go. I can invert that, and I can send that back to Comp. And great. So this is actually starting to come together pretty well, I think. I'm happy with this, and I want to share it with Jen to see what she thinks. So if I click on the Share menu here, I've got a couple of different options. With Comp, I can send to InDesign, to Photoshop, or to Illustrator. Because I know Jen's a Photoshop user, I'm going to click Send to Photoshop. Looks like we're having a little bit of a network problem here. All of you didn't turn off your Wi-Fi hotspots. So let me talk about what would normally happen here. Yeah, exactly. So what happens actually in the background is Comp is going to take all of the pieces that I've created here, so all of my fonts, my character styles, the vectors I have in this image, the photo that I masked out, the drawings that I did in Sketch, package it all up as a PSD, and through Creative Cloud, it's going to send it to my desktop. And that's going to be something that Jen is going to be able to use in her design.
Awesome. So yeah, normally he'd be able to pass me that file, as Eric mentioned, in a few seconds, but we have 7,000 people sharing a Wi-Fi, so it might take a minute. And I think it looks really great. I love what you did. No offense, though. I still think we need one more thing. Classic, right? And to create the final element for our poster, I'm going to use my phone. So, as some of you may remember from last year, we started exploring how anything that your camera sees can be turned into a pretty high-quality design asset, right? We launched apps like Color, Shape, Brush, and Hue, and we love these apps. I'm personally obsessed with them. But the more apps we built, the more ideas we came up with. And that wasn't scalable for us or for you. So today, I'm excited to introduce a brand new app called Adobe Capture that brings all of our existing Capture apps together, as well as a few new tools that'll be available very soon. So with my phone, I'm going to launch the app, and you might recognize some of these. As I open it, here's Color that allows you to capture a color palette anywhere at any time. Here's Shape for transforming an object or an illustration into a scalable vector. I use this one all the time. Here's Brush that lets you create custom Photoshop brushes. Eric made a lot of these. They're beautiful. Look that lets you pull in the lighting or the hue from a photo and apply it to a video project. That one still blows my mind. I have no idea how they've made it. And then we have a new tool that'll be available very soon, but I'm going to share a sneak peek today that allows you to create patterns. So if you've ever created a pattern by manually tiling an image, you know that getting it to repeat seamlessly is actually a lot of work, right? You're allowed to answer if you want. There you go.
Yes.
And luckily, we've built technology into this app that blends the seams between your tiles, resulting in a perfect pattern. So I'm just going to zoom in so you can really see the detail on that. Thank you. Yeah, that guy's into it. Awesome. Thanks, Dad. So I'm going to create a pattern today, and I'm going to use this flower that I stole from my hotel room, sorry, and I'll put it back. And I'm just using this to show you that you really can pull from inspiration at any time. It's that easy. So I'm going to skip over that tile feature I was just referencing, and I'm actually shuffling through these 5 more abstract filters that result in an infinite number of designs. Pretty cool, right? Kind of trippy, especially when your hand is shaking like mine. That's how easy it is to use, though. Okay, so I'm happy with this. So now I'm going to adjust the focus. And I'm going to save it to that same Creative Cloud library that we'd been using to our design. Awesome. So I'm going to head back to Photoshop, and perfect. It looks like that file that Eric had been working on came through, and I want to highlight that not only do I have access to the poster he made, but it was added to our shared library with a layer for each asset that he created in a handful of different apps. So helpful. So I'm going to select the layer at the very top and just add our pattern in as that final element. Cool. So I think that looks pretty good. Not bad for a 5-minute workflow. What do you guys think? Yeah, great. In that case, we expect all 7,000 of you to be at our yoga workshop. But as you can see, collaborating has never been this seamless and now extends well beyond the desktop. That's the power of CreativeSync. Thank you so much.
That was a double fist bump. More innovation. Okay, so thank you, Jen and Eric. Wonderful. Let's just take a step back and look at what just happened, all right? In just a few minutes, Jen and Eric were able to create this poster using a combination of desktop and mobile apps working effortlessly together, albeit some of the Wi-Fi issues. They passed asset libraries and huge files back and forth. And with CreativeSync, you saw mobile apps work together without any reliance on the camera roll. So you can really get that professional grade output. That's what we're striving for here. I'll also call out the first new app you just saw that we're adding to the mobile offering, Adobe Capture. So you can use it to capture brushes, shapes, colors, looks, and soon patterns. And it is shipping today on iOS and Android. So we're really excited about that. So these new apps and workflows are definitely the next generation of mobile creation, and that's why we're so focused on them. It was also awesome to see these apps in action on the new iPad Pro. For too long, the potential of mobile creativity has really been limited by the power of the hardware we use. The next generation of hardware is unleashing new possibilities for mobile creation. Now, we have worked closely with our friends at Apple to optimize our mobile apps for the iPad Pro, getting early access to hardware and making sure that the software and the hardware works together magically. And we're really excited to continue working with Apple to enable the future of mobile creativity, and thanks to those from Apple who are here with us today. So now, we are not doing justice for the power and potential of CreativeSync without talking about Creative Cloud as a platform. Last year, we launched the Creative SDK, a powerful set of components that hundreds of third-party app developers are now using to integrate Adobe technology into their apps. And we've made significant updates, and we invite all developers to take full advantage of the Creative SDK to make all creative apps work in the way you just saw. We're also proud to announce our partnership with Murasawa, which will add an amazing selection of the highest quality Japanese typefaces from the world's most well-known and prestigious Asian type foundry. So In addition to Adobe Stock and Typekit, we hope that CreativeSync brings many new sources of content to your fingertips, and our partnership with Murasawa adds tremendous value to Creative Cloud, so thank you. And we're also excited about a number of other collaborations underway to bring the power of Creative Cloud to the everyday services that you use to connect and create, whether it's Slack for team communication, InVision for prototyping, or Twitch for watching others create in real time. We are extending the boundaries of Creative Cloud to the apps that you know and love. So, as you can see, our teams have been pretty busy, and a big shout out to them, by the way. This was just a lot of work to get all this done for today. Connecting creativity across your teams, your devices, your apps, and all the services you use within and beyond Adobe. This is CreativeSync at work. And this is also creativity at its best. Endless possibilities. So we're really excited what you will do with all these new massive improvements to Creative Cloud. Thanks, and now I'll turn it over to Brian.
Thanks, Scott. Was that awesome or what? And I want one of those iPad Pros. Okay, you can see that CreativeSync enables new modern workflows that you can quickly create and collaborate across mobile and desktop apps. Your assets are available to you when and where you need them, letting you seamlessly move between mobile and desktop app experiences and focus on what matters most to you, your design. As Eric and Jen showed, CreativeSync really shines when you're working together as a team, so you can quickly create and share assets. Let's take a quick look at how CreativeSync is transforming design for some of the world's most popular brands.
For us, without Creative Cloud, we wouldn't be able to do pretty much any of our work, from Photoshop to Illustrator. It's the foundation of everything we do.
Finally, we can connect artists together. We can have them share elements, and they can have everything that they need at their fingertips.
Creative Cloud really helps people work the way that they want to work, given the diverse time zones that we're in and cultures, and it's really important that people have that freedom to work the way in which makes them most successful.
Branding is key in everything we do, and we have guidelines, obviously, as an enterprise. One of the challenges is trying to let all of our designers know what those guidelines are and stay true to them.
Uber's spread out all over the world, and we have small teams in each region, each city, and we're constantly onboarding new people. There's some challenges in maintaining consistency in terms of the brand experience, and it can be a brand manager's nightmare.
Our graphics are constantly evolving and trying to stay one step ahead of ourselves. Before libraries, we would store everything on a local server and then hope that everyone's pulling the latest version.
We were using anything from a USB stick, email attachments, but if some people's email was too filled up, the USB stick was lost along the way.
The tools that Adobe provides us with, CreativeSync and the entire Creative Cloud, allows us to build a library for all of the brand elements. It allows all of these different teams to instantly drag files into Creative Cloud libraries.
It just saves time, it's more efficient, and it allows for more real-time changes to occur.
We have a large set of team logos for every single sport. And when we want to update one of those logos, we just have to change it, one place, and it just gets updated everywhere.
The one thing that I've noticed as we've integrated Creative Cloud the past couple of years is the efficiencies across my entire organization and how that's translated into a higher ROI for us.
We're incredibly excited about how having CreativeSync and having creative libraries will allow us to onboard people a lot faster.
It enables our teams to be efficient, to do great work, and that's really critical for us in our success.
I definitely see Creative Cloud having huge potential for the future.
It not only saves us valuable resources, but it allows us to move on to the next project that much quicker.
And it allows us more time for actually creative freedom and working the project and getting the best possible asset that we can create out of this.